Welcome to the first episode of Random Ones, the series where I talk about some random, quirky, and fascinating things all across the universe. This is basically going to be my junk drawer series, where I cover various random topics that aren't necessarily worthy of a full-length video, but I still find interesting and worthy to talk about. From weird lost media, to interesting online banter, and everything in between. I hope to make this a fun, unserious, and less focused series than my typical essay-style videos, with
the funnies
sprinkled in. Today, we'll be giving an ever-so-needed update to some past Nickelodeon lost media mysteries I covered before here on the channel, and a crazy, quirky, and obscure Animal Planet sitcom about a talking dog from the early 2000s. Before we dive into the watery depths of this video, I'm going to show that stupid graph that all the other YouTube people use to remind you that if you like what you see at any point, make sure to subscribe, like, or even dislike. Whatever floats your boat. I got some more hot and ready videos on the way, so stay tuned. You know, like the pizza, hot and ready, okay, you get the joke. Anyways, let's get into the gritty. There's a very good chance that the reason you are watching this video right now is through many of my Nickelodeon lost media adventures. From the escapades of the lost adaptations of Blue's Clues to the ever-so-mysterious Pocket Gotta Get It money, Nickelodeon mysteries as a whole make up a good majority of the views on this channel, and the money in my pocket. Just kidding, I'm not monetized yet, silly. And it's obvious why. Many of you probably aren't going to watch the next part of this video because you came here just for that sweet, sweet Nickelodeon nectar. And just like your dad, I am ever so glad to deliver the milk back to you today by bringing some needed updates to some of the Nickelodeon searches I've made videos on. Because, you know, I can't change whatever past BrayBray said in those videos, but I can today, so what are we waiting for? Me to finish this intro? The first little Nickelodeon update I want to cover today is some needed closure on my very first full-length video here on the channel, the Lost International Adaptations of Blue's Clues. Yeah, that video blew up, didn't it? I guess it was just uploaded at the right time when Blue's Clues lost media was starting to get big. It turns out that a few clever sleuths in the comments section have informed me that the entirety of the British adaptation, you know, the one with Kevin, has officially been found. All you Kev heads out there can finally rejoice. If you remember back in the ye old days of that video, I mentioned that 5 episodes of the British adaptation were still lost. The Baby's Here, Something to Do Blue, Blue's Backyard Ballgame Bonanza, I'm So Happy, and Can You Help? Well, I'm glad to say that all of these have been found by Discord user The Tunes of Josh 61708 on June 10th, 2022 through a Google Drive link containing all of the missing episodes. Honestly, I've always thought that the British version would probably be found first. Not only was the quantity of lost episodes low compared to the other adaptations, but this is the version that seemed to have the strongest nostalgia and motivation to get it completely found. So thanks to commenters, Postcards from Blue's Clues Originals and Remakes, and Bryce Allen 13 Entertainment for informing me about this. And here's to finding the lost episodes from the other 2 adaptations in the future. Now it's time to get that money, that pocket money, baby! Well, this is a small update compared to the conclusion I already came to in that video. I figured I'd include it here just because. But now we can completely, wholeheartedly, 1000% confirm that Pocket Money is the 1979 inaugural Nickelodeon show, by the way. Come on along, we're going on by the Bray. This is gonna be the greatest update you've ever known. By the Bray. It all started on one day, March 21st, 2022. This is when I was patrolling in the Pop Arena Discord server, which that name might sound familiar if you watched the original video, as his YouTube channel is the one where Pocket Money was first known to the wider public. So hey, it's only fitting that everything came full circle when I saw this clipping out of the Shreveport Journal from July 6, 1979 in there, provided by the greatest Nickelodeon archivist himself, CDCB2. This little Nickelodeon schedule states right next to, by the way, that the title was changed from Pocket Money. You can't get any more concrete of an answer than that, and we were all going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs because of it. Of course, thank you to CDCB2 and the Pop Arena Discord server for closing the book on this mystery once and for all. For our final Nickelodeon update, I decided to save the best for last. It's time we go to something new, specifically Bing, the sound of something new. I didn't actually cover this one on my main channel, but I did help make a video about it over on the good old Media Busters channel, so I recommend you go watch that one afterward if you want more context. But to give you the laydown in one sentence, it was a short-lived Nickelodeon show from 1995 that starred future real estate agent David Sidoni going around and giving the laydown on all of the tubular and mondo things that kids liked back then. It didn't last, as the show was panned by audiences, and thus only one promo and some demo reel footage by Sidoni himself was the only footage from the show we had for the longest time. Well, I'm glad to say that there's been the sound of something new online recently with the show, and it all started in September 2021 when YouTube user the VHS files uploaded some commercial breaks containing some never-before-seen promos of Bing. We actually never noticed these commercial breaks until after we made the video, so whoopsies, I guess. It actually wasn't until November 27th, 2021, when YouTube user, yeah, I'm not pronouncing that for the life of me, uploaded these promos by themselves, when I was finally like, hey, y'all see this? But this was only a sign of bigger things to come, and oh, they would come alright. On February 2nd, 2022, YouTube user PDCS216 would upload the motherlode of Bing the Sound of Something New So Far, a 3-minute clip showcasing David Sidoni going backstage to interview the cast of the TV series Party of 5. The very first true footage of an airing of Bing. I honestly couldn't believe it. It's an understatement of how excited I am for the future of this search, as Bing seems like something people can latch onto for a good hearty lost media hunt. I hope I can get the word out there about this little show, and here's to finding more footage and maybe even full episodes in the future. David Sidoni, it's time for you to be recognized as a Nickelodeon icon. And there you have it, some updates to some past Nickelodeon searches I've participated in. These were some of the funnest searches I've ever had the pleasure of helping out, as any Nick search can be if done correctly. I'm glad we as the descendants of Buff She could get out there in the field and help these lost puzzles get solved once and for all. Here's to finding more Nickelodeon stuff in the future. I know you all are tempted to click off by now because the Nickelodeon stuff is over, but stick around and maybe warm up another pot of joe because oh boy is the next thing ever an interesting one, and something I've wanted to talk about for a while but never had the opportunity to until now.
Your skin's spending a lot more time in the sun today than you think, and it doesn't take much for the sun's rays to dry out and damage your skin. Fortunately,
well, this show is one of those things that have been on my radar, and what I feel fits perfectly into the model of this new series. You know, as fellow human beings here on Earth, we know that some things just don't work very well together. Fruit snacks and ranch, nails on a chalkboard, my sleep schedule in this very script, but Animal Planet and sitcoms, yeah, that doesn't go together very well either, as evidenced by their, let's just say, interesting experiment of a sitcom in the early 2000s. You know Animal Planet, they got pit bulls and parolees and all the other ones. Launched in 1996 as a joint venture between Discovery and the BrayBray channel, you know, the BBC, Animal Planet is and has always been a fairly self-explanatory channel. It's animals on the planet. That's it. That's literally been the entire purpose of the channel for its entire existence. In the channel's early years specifically, Animal Planet mostly focused on family-friendly documentary shows and films like Buck Staghorn's Animal Bites, Acorn the Nature Nut, and You Lie Like a Dog. These are just some of the fine cuisine you would find on Animal Planet circa late 90s and early aughts. While this content was safe and easy to swallow, Animal Planet was about to take a big risk. A gamble per se, like your grandma's lottery addiction. In 2002, they had the audacity to say, hey, what if we made a show about a talking dog? That's an animal, right? I bet no one's ever done that before. We'll make it a sitcom and insert some rando family in there too. We'll make quadrillions. On August 13th, 2002, the channel premiered Beware of Dog, and knew right from the get-go that they had failed, and there was no going back. So what exactly was this show? Well, behind every property is a person, and the person behind Beware of Dog is a man named Richard Martin. Director of such films as the Air Bud sequel, a film that currently stands at a whopping 21% on Rotten Tomatoes and is unanimously considered to be a critical and commercial failure. I'm sure that Martin really wanted Beware of Dog to be the turning point in his canine-centric entertainment career. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. The show stars the Pools, an average ordinary sitcom family that gets involved in average ordinary sitcom family antics. There's Bill Poole, the father, Mary Poole, the mother, then the kids, Jessica and Mark Poole. Now, grab your popcorn and put your hands together for the talking dog, Jack, a bearded collie played by fellow doggy actor Chip. The lad and Chad himself, who before the show was the quote-unquote backup dog for the 2000 Grinch movie. Yes, that one. Adopted from an animal shelter in 1997, Chip was the first out of 30 dogs that were auditioned for the lead role, with the showrunners always having a connection with him specifically. While Chip was a very capable dog, there's one thing he couldn't do: talk. This led to the super funny and original gimmick of the show, by giving Jack a voice.
Dog days of summer? It should be the dog nights. The world's greatest invention? The doggy door.
Provided by actor and director Park Bench. Park Bench! A name so stupid that I'm not entirely convinced he's a real person. Park Bench, if you happen to be watching this video, I'm so very sorry. Fast forward a bit and Beware of Dog would eventually get its 7 ordered episodes out the door, written and produced by Rob Gilmer of Magnum Pie and Not Landing fame. Animal Planet was prepping for the inevitable release of what might have been the channel's riskiest venture yet, and they were about to pay the ultimate price. Yeah, the show flopped, both critically and commercially. I mean, you know it's bad when most reviews of the show are describing the show as cheap, recycled, boring, and having an identity crisis. Whether it's the family being the most stereotypical thing ever, or Jack just being a boring dog who does boring dog things, Beware of Dog did not fare well among critics, or anyone else for that matter. Boring, 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 cheap, cheap, cheap. That's all this show was at the end of the day. Viewership didn't seem to fare much better, and thus Animal Planet seemed to hear our cries for help quite quickly, taking the big L. The show aired 2 episodes before being pulled from the airwaves forever, allowing unsuspected viewers to finally escape from the devilish dog. They didn't even have the balls to air the whole show. That should give you a picture of how bad it was. Because of this mess, it should come as no surprise that the majority of Beware of Dog is considered lost media. No full episodes or any actual footage of the series can be found online, including both the 2 aired episodes and the 5 episodes that never made it to air. All of this mediocre madness reduced to 2 promos and some Animal Planet commercial breaks on YouTube. While I wouldn't consider this show an absolute tragedy of lost media, it really is kind of sad how exactly things turned out in the end for everyone involved. Then again, Beware of Dog isn't exactly remarkable television, just an interesting story of a network falling flat on their face when trying something out of their comfort zone. I was originally planning on making a video about this flop of a show, but scrapped it because I wasn't sure how worthy it was of a whole video essay. But at least it works well for this series. And there you have it, the first episode of Random Ones has officially come to a close. I know, you might feel the need to shed some tears, but all good things must come to an end at some point. I know this was a shorter one compared to the rest of my videos, but I just want to test out this new format of content, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Hopefully this does well enough so I'm actually motivated to make a second episode, unlike some of my, other series on here. So do all that YouTube stuff to help me out if you want. Maybe follow me on the Bird app, and don't forget all of my other links and sources used are in the description down below. This has been BrayBray, thanks for watching, and remember that Buff Yoshi is forever supreme.
Yeah, man, it's the night when this little dog heads out to howl.